Mr. Giuliani, can I ask this question? Chris Hayes here. Just to make sure about how much news was made tonight on the policy front, am I still correct that the Romney campaign's official position is they want to extend indefinitely or permanently the Bush tax cuts on the table, which would, of course, cut taxes for high-income individuals? I don't even think that's a matter of debate, and yet Mitt Romney himself tonight seemed to repudiate that.
If you extend the Bush tax cuts, you don't cut taxes, you keep taxes where they are. If you don't extend the Bush tax cuts, you raise taxes.
No,
if you don't extend the Bush tax cuts, in total, you raise taxes.
No, they're set to expire. It was your party that set them to expire, I would add. I wasn't sitting here at the desk. I didn't do that. The Republican Party was the one that decided to do that. So you guys have to deal with the sunset provision. No, it's not an accounting measure. It's actually going to, they're actually going to expire.
Yeah, of course it's an accounting measure. I'm paying a certain level of tax this year. Next year, if the Bush tax cuts expire, I get a big tax increase.
Right.
But if the Bush tax cuts don't expire, I pay the same tax next year that I'm paying this year.
Right, because you make a lot of money. That's exactly my point. Mr. Giuliani, you are one of those people who are going to see a very large tax cut because you are, to your great credit, a high-earning individual, and of course you will see a large bounty from this tax cut. That's the question on the table.
Stop the ad personam silliness, okay? The reality is it's true for everyone. Let me finish my answer rather than yelling and screaming at me. Just let me finish my answer, and then you can say whatever you want to say. The reality is that if the Bush tax cuts expire, for every American, next year, their taxes go up, and for every American, if they don't expire, their taxes remain exactly the same. So it's ridiculous to talk about that as a tax increase. It is not a tax increase, not on any American, rich one, or anybody paying taxes. We know a lot of Americans don't pay taxes. But for every American that pays taxes, if the Bush tax cuts expire, their taxes go up. Now, President Obama wants to vary that for people at $200,000, $250,000, but that's just the reality of it. And you can scream all you want, but that's just the reality.
I just want to establish that because this is a very important point about the distributional impacts of what our tax policy are. And my understanding of the campaign to this point was that there had been a difference between Mitt Romney and the president on this, that Mitt Romney wants to make sure he preserves those tax cuts for those at the high end, and the president doesn't want to. And I just want to establish for people who are watching the debate that that is still the case.
Of course it's the case. Okay. Mitt Romney wants to extend the Bush tax cuts,
for high-income
which would leave, for everyone, if you leave those alone, then there's no tax increase next year. If you get rid of the Bush tax cuts, for anybody, there'll be a tax increase. Now, why am I opposed to raising taxes? I don't want to give the government any more money. Sure. They're wasting enough money already. I believe in the Ronald Reagan approach.
Department of Homeland Security.
I believe in the Ronald Reagan approach. If I can finish my answer, I believe in the Ronald Reagan approach that you should not feed the beast. Let's put the beast on a diet. Let's see if they can spend a little less money. That may force them to do actually some cutting.
Does the Department of Homeland Security and related spending through contracts on, say, private consulting firms like yourself, does that count as feeding the beast or not?
Okay, I have no contract with the Department of Homeland Security. One more try at an ad personam attack. Doesn't work. Never done a contract with the Department of Homeland Security. Don't have one planned. Don't get any money from the government.
Sure.
So you can try all those ad personam attacks that you want. I do private business with private individuals. Get no money from the government.
Mayor Giuliani, I want to
try another one?
Mayor Giuliani, I want to... Well, if you're inviting it, I will say that the difference, what we've just established with the Bush tax cuts thing, is that under Mitt Romney, rich people will pay a lot less in taxes than what they would pay under President Obama, because President Obama would let the Bush tax cuts expire for higher-earning individuals only. So that's the distinction that we are talking about here. So the result is that rich people pay less under Romney and more under Obama. Right. That is the ultimate answer, right?
The ultimate answer is if either one of them can get their proposals through. And the reality is, one of the ways in which our economy grows is if rich people have more money, they hire more people, they spend more money. President Obama wanted to extend the Bush tax cuts a year ago because our economy was in trouble, and you should not raise taxes when the economy is in trouble. Our economy is in more trouble today. The growth rate last week was pathetic at 1.2%. So why the heck is he in favor of raising taxes now if he was opposed to it a year ago?
Mr. Giuliani, thank you very much for your time tonight. You've been very generous with us. I appreciate it. And we finally get to the issue that rich people need the money because they create the jobs at the very end.